Hanging out with me. Welcome to Karma on Deck. I'm Karma. This is your weekly reading for May 31st. Let's take a look and see what's going on with you guys. Sagittarius, just a friendly reminder, we're in the thick of Mercury retrograde, so we're playing with a little bit of that chaos energy. My electronics have gone on strike, and it has been since Saturday that I've been trying to correct Wi-Fi settings. Go figure, the psychic decided that it needed to go in the freezer and it fixed it. Yes, I put my modem in the freezer. It was telling me it was hot after spending 5 hours with plugging, unplugging, following the lines, my computer, looking at everything, shutting it down, all the things. And I feel like I went a little bit crazy with it. And then my Ring doorbell went out. Then my Echo Dot went out. Whee! My car's broke. Again. Yes, Mercury retrograde in full effect. Okay, here you go, Sagittarius. Let's take a look and see what your energy looks like. Uh-oh. And here we go. All right, the Hierophant. Ooh, so the Hierophant's an interesting card. In my Tarot 101 class, we were talking about the different aspects that come and go with these cards. And the Hierophant can sometimes often mean education. It can sometimes mean our leadership religiously, like what things drive us, what has got our functions and focus, taking our attention with that. So the Hierophant, I want you to think of back in the day, Romans kind of had the church and state were kind of together, and so it was what they said goes. So what is it that is driving you? So sometimes this can be internal programs, the things that run us. It could be our religious construct, guilt or shame. It can also be education, higher education. So if you're going to school, or if you're returning to school, or looking at what is teaching you and what is driving you. So the Hierophant has a lot of different layers to it. It can also mean someone of faith, like a leader or a priest or a pastor or a bishop, someone who is the person that we lean to or lean on. So this is kind of complicated, but let's look and see, because this is the beginning card of your reading. So what is driving you, Sagittarius? The next card you have is Two of Cups. So love is driving you. Your relationships are driving you. How you pair up with other people and your duality. And what you have here is the Two of Swords. Okay? Two of Swords is indecision. And this talks to us about being stuck between two things and allowing yourself to really think about those two different directions until you get analysis paralysis and you're kind of stuck. And if you notice here, she's got these two directions to go and they're blocking her, and she has the blinders on, which means there is just, no matter how much information that you get on this situation, you don't feel like you can make a decision, or you 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You feel like you're going to lose something. We have the Temperance card, which is balance. Okay. Temperance was something that came up for Scorpio right before this. Temperance, no, it was the Star card. So Temperance having to do with balance. So here's what's interesting. So this could be Two of Swords, Two of Cups. This means you might be two different directions on a course of action that you need to take, and wondering whether you, what do I do? What's the right choice? And it could also mean for some of you, if we see here, hi, Nikki, hi, Andra. So if you have the Two of Swords and the Two of Cups, unless we get the Two of Wands, the Two of Wands would tell us that we have two things in hand. Again, Tarot 101 in my head. So Two of Cups, Two of Swords. So Cups is love, Two of Swords is indecision. Temperance meaning balance. So how are you balancing these things? Now here's what's true. You're feeling overwhelmed about these situations that you're in, okay? You have the Eight of Swords, okay? And hi, wife. And this is where you feel as you've got too many items surrounding you, right? And too many things going on at once. I want you to think of standing in a circle and everyone is pointing a sword at you. Now, all you got to do is duck down or jump up and go out of this circle and you're fine. And she has blinders on. She's got chains around her wrists and she's holding them. So these are the decisions that you make. These are self-imposed restrictions, likely, because it's so easy for her to get out of these, right? So all she has to do is open her eyes and walk right through, or look above, right? And she's on this insubstantial thing. She's on a cloud. Like, she can just poof, go beneath it. So ultimately, it's more so that you're not able to see how and what to do about this situation. Let's see what the recommendation is for you. Knight of Cups, so very emotional. Knights are, you got to think of our court cards within the tarot deck as being elements and qualities of development. So pages being very immature, are like our teenagers that really don't have a clue, but they're super excited about everything. And knights are the ones that think they know, but yet they're reacting. They're reacting versus responding. So this is coming from love. So the Knight of Cups is all about, like, I'm responding with this energy of love and responding with emotion, because Cups is about emotion, not necessarily just love. I mean, I generalize often, right? I just did Scorpio. So the Four of Pentacles is having to do with generosity, having enough, and what your structure is about. And that's what's next. So Page of Pentacles, starting things over with money. You have the Strength card as well as Scorpio did. So the Strength card is our card that has to do with, you know, using past experience in order to move forward so that you're not making same mistakes over and over again. You have the Moon card, which is fear. So you're feeling a little nervous energy about these choices that you have to make. So Glay is asking, not a Scorpio, but does it work? Yes. So it works for other signs. What I would say is if you're tuning in, I would listen because you're definitely here for a reason. So just chill for just a minute and see what it has to say and if it resonates with you. So you have the Moon card, and the Moon card is about necessary journeys, things that you have to do, things that you feel, you know, you're mapping out your future, feeling worried about mysteries and things that are going on in the unknown. So the Moon card, because it has the crab and these two dogs, again, you have this polarity, 2, 2, 2, right? We've got these two pillars here where this is like you're looking where you've been, where you're at and where you're going, and you're a little afraid, a little worried, it's a tenuous decision. This is something that makes us feel like, whoo, a little nervous. So you have this Seven of Cups, too many options. So overwhelm is a big part of what you're doing. So too many things going on at once. So this is like being in a candy store or going to your favorite like Bath and Body. And which one do I buy? Great thing that there's a special buy two, get one free, right? So you have this here. So you have the Ace of Swords, which is a decision. So you have these decisions that are going on for you. You have the High Priestess and the Devil card, which means you're conflicted over everything. And you also have the Two of Pentacles. Unlike the Two of Wands, you have a lot of twos here. Unlike the Two of Wands where you have two things, the Two of Pentacles is having to choose between one or the other. Typically, the Two of Pentacles is our card for being on a... When you see this, it's usually someone on an ocean and they see these two ships that are out there and they can only meet one. So they're trying to decide, how do I go to and accommodate both of these things? The Devil card is about things that drive us. The Devil card is the things that afflict us. So maybe you've got some decisions that you need to make and it's just really afflicting you in such a way and you're feeling held back. You're feeling as if there is too many things to decide between. And see, now the Devil card is about addiction. It's also about lies, and it's also about people that antagonize you or lie to you. So if we see the Devil card, it is mostly about things that vex us and hold us back. So when you have this Devil card in play, it might be that you're lying to yourself and you're not looking at things and you're looking at your habits more so than you are looking at things factually. The High Priestess is in play, and that means trust your intuition. So whatever is going on with you, and if you've listened to me long enough, you know my favorite advice, right? Who knows my favorite advice? Anybody? Trust yourself. Trust yourself, because ultimately, and I've said this time and again, where you may be wrong about the data. You can't make the math make sense, but something feels off. So you go accusing someone of something. Let's say you're asking your husband if he's cheating because something's just making you feel weird and you're thinking, maybe I should look at his phone. Maybe I should ask him, what's he up to? And come to find out it's alcohol or spending more money than they wanted to share with you, or maybe they're taking less hours at work, or there's something that they're just holding within that they don't want to share. And so you have this feeling, but you don't have the facts to back it up. So I would say trust yourself, because ultimately it may not be the actual facts that you're led to, but just that something was off. And the more you continue to trust yourself and play with it and practice and sit in meditation and really listen to the sound of your own voice, you get this opportunity to practice with trusting yourself. So you have the High Priestess, which tells you that you have the answer already. And the thing is, Sagittarius, is you are spinning so many stories and dialogues about what's going on, indicated by the Two of Swords, right? That you're unable to come to a conclusion. Now, I think you know what it is that you need to do. I think that you really have an idea of what direction to take things and how to play it out. And you're just feeling conflicted about it. And you need to settle, right? So here's the thing. Acceptance is huge. Acceptance and awareness is huge. Like letting things be as they are. Because if you sit long enough, people will show themselves to you. If you sit long enough, people will, the way and the easy way in which things are supposed to go. And often we think we're supposed to this and we're supposed to that. But ultimately, what ends up happening is the universe opens to you. You don't really hammer and knock on the door. Usually it opens itself gently and will guide you in that way. So the High Priestess is reminding you to trust yourself. Trust the process. Stay where you are. And don't be emotional. Don't be reactive. Respond rather than react. But how is it that you can respond rather than react when you're feeling emotional. Now, one of the things that I would say is to sit with the emotion itself. Ho'oponopono is a magical practice. I discovered that about 1.5 years ago. It's thank you for the lesson. Forgive me. You tap and say, forgive me. You forgive yourself for whatever you did. Maybe you weren't as aware. Maybe you didn't slow down. Maybe you didn't ask enough questions. Maybe you're treating someone based on a past trauma, but you got to forgive yourself for that. You got to thank yourself for the lesson and say, I love you. The second thing that I've learned recently is one of my favorite practices is taking a situation to the walls, like to the 4 walls, from the windows to the walls. You got to take the emotion for all that it's worth. If you're angry, ask yourself why, like a 2-year-old. But why? But why? But why? But why? I'm mad because, until you get down to the core value of why you're upset. And what you'll discover is it's triggering you on something that may have happened in the past. Clear that too, Ho'oponopono, right? You clear these energies and you take it to the worst case scenario that it could possibly be. Don't be afraid to look at it. Awareness is key. Here's the thing. If you're not looking at a situation, if you're not looking deeply at what the possibilities are, you can't know how far it can go and what the risk really is. And so maybe if you look to the furthest, scariest scenario in your head in meditation of the worst it can get, and you come from acceptance, you then dive from that foundation into the greatest it could possibly be. And when you start coming from gratitude, acceptance, pleasure, and like thank you and love, and then you come back to center and you sit with what is. You've already felt the 2 extremes, so now they can't affect you anymore, whichever direction they go. Paired with Ho'oponopono, that's a magical ability to really stay in flow and stay balanced. I recommend you try it. Let me know if it works for you. If anybody else has done Ho'oponopono, I want to hear about it, or have any practice with playing with the emotions going different directions, let me know. I am going to pull a card for you from Divination of the Ancients for your wrap-up session. Book your one-on-one, karmaondeck.com. For my local people here in St. George, in-person classes will be coming up next week. We're going to be doing new moon and full moon ritual ceremony. We're going to be drumming on the new moon and setting intentions on the full. So if you're interested in that, please hit me up. If you want in on the tarot class, I'm also going to be doing it live for those of you that can't make it via Zoom. So it'll be a group session that you can kind of play with that energy with. So find me, karmaondeck.com, and let's see what your card is for this week, what to focus on. Confirmation. It's funny, Scorpio had affirmation. So shooting star is confirmation. So here's the thing. Sit with your decisions in your brain. Sit with your idea of what it is you want to do. We don't find a feather and chase an angel. We make a decision and then look for these confirmations. So here's the thing. Even if you make a decision to make a decision, and that means like Monday, I'm going to put this on the schedule and I'm going to get to it. I'm going to sit with it. Often takes the pressure off of us and releases some of the bottled up emotions that we have. I was just talking to someone recently about making a decision to make a decision, and trust me, he had it lined up within 2 weeks. He had it all lined up. So this is confirmation. So look for confirmations before you dive forward. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. My favorite expression is come from love. It's the answer to every question. Thanks for hanging out with me.